Hey all, Cypher and welcome back to another Outerplane video. Hope it is great. Mine is pretty rough actually. But anyways, I totally forgot to make a update video because update actually dropped like 2 days ago. But I was super busy with some personal stuff. But finally I have time to catch up, and Epsilon and Demiurge Drakhan, the two new heroes, are finally here in the live version of the game. But I'm gonna be doing a first look because honestly, I've still not looked at the complete kits yet, and I know it sounds so weird because this was supposed to be one of the biggest patches, but there's a lot of shit going on and I just did not have the time to catch up, right? So the first one is Epsilon. She is a dark elemental striker and particularly a bruiser for the subclass, which means she's going to be much more sturdier, yeah. So her introduction reads, Epsilon, a hero capable of reducing action points of all enemies or dealing increased damage to an enemy with a barrier, will be joining us during the upcoming drop-in event. Again, thing is simple. Her banner is going to be there for 2 weeks. Again, she's going to be here for the rated banner, so you can use your special recruitment tickets, your ether, everything else, the new currencies. Everything can be used to basically summon Epsilon, right? Her first ability is called Super Cool Killing Machine. What? Okay, that's a weird name. Anyways, this is her first ability, basic attack. Attacks two enemies, has a 50% chance to grant increased accuracy to the caster for 1 turn. If the target has a barrier, damage dealt increases. Interesting. So she's kind of like an anti-barrier hero, right? So Leo, anything which provides barrier. Veronica, Demiurge, Stella. Honestly, if you have her at 6 stars. Everything. So if the target has a barrier, damage dealt is increased. 50% chance to grant increased accuracy, which means she might have some debuffs up her sleeve, right? And this could really help her to land them, because keep in mind, Efrez is kind of dead already. So increased accuracy is simply gonna make it like almost super 100%-ish, right, to land the debuffs. Again, attacks two enemies as well. So this is kind of like Rona's basic ability. Super cool. Interesting, right? Second ability is called Automaton of Rupture. Attacks all enemies. Reduces the action point of all enemies by 40. If the target has a barrier, damage dealt increases. Okay, so this is an AoE. Action points of all enemies by 40. Okay, so this is what they meant by, she's a hero which is having a unique mechanic of reducing action points of enemies, which is super cool, honestly. A lot of heroes actually rely upon action points to use their burst skills, and if she's just able to, cleave away their action points, this could potentially halt their ability to fight long game. So for example, Tio is notorious for relying on action points. Even Mene is super good with action points. All the DPS heroes just have like better abilities with action points. So I think she's gonna be so much good, or almost perfect with synergize with tanky comps or bruisers. Any way you want to build her, again, because firstly she's a striker and she's a bruiser herself, so I'm expecting her health numbers to be decent, not super weak, again. But I do think she needs to build with attack, because nowhere it says that her abilities are scaling with health, right? I think it scales with her attack. So if you wanted to do damage, you kind of need to build attack for her, right? So she can be potentially squishy. Anyways, this is on a 4-turn cooldown, so it's kind of long, honestly, for third skill. Actually, it's pretty average, not super long, but I think this could be much lower. Or maybe this is just 4-turn, without the -1 turn when you scale it up. I don't know. Her burst is much more interesting. Increases damage, +1 buff removed at 90 action points. So second burst is +1 buff removed, so 2 buffs in all. Keep in mind this is an AoE ability, and having an AoE buff removal is super viable. It's always going to remain viable in PvP, because we already have a drought of buff removers. Like there's so little, right? Only Alice, Elisa kind of heroes, and this is super good. I think, again, it's not even a lot. It's like 90 action points. It's not a lot. Like, you can get it potentially on your second turn. The world is Oz. Okay, this is another AoE. After attacking, grants invulnerability to the caster for 1 turn, recovers the action points of the caster by 35 for each target damaged. If the target has a barrier, damage dealt increases. What? This is kind of crazy, man. AoE invulnerability to the caster for 1 turn. It recovers the action points of the caster by 35 for each target's damage. So if using it, straight up, so you can get like 35 times for 140 action points. This is crazy. It's crazy good. And keep in mind, she can then instantly rotate into her second ability, which is going to remove 2 buffs, deal more damage, and reduce the action points of all enemies by 40. And keep in mind, she's going to potentially, no, she's not going to have increased accuracy buff at the start, because this is on her basic ability, but still, the basic ability, now I see why it synergizes with the rest of her abilities, because her second ability actually strips, right, removes buffs, so this kind of needs accuracy, and her first ability kind of grants that, right? Super good, super interesting kid, honestly, synergizing a lot, plus this 140 action gauge recovery. This is kind of unique, man. This is never seen before. This is crazy good. Like Aste does not do this much, action point recovery. There's so little heroes that can even come close to this much. Like Tamara gains passively, not even that much, man. It's not even enough to use her third burst. This one is so good. 140 burst generated, plus 1 buff removed. If you use the right accessories, I think you might be able to take it to third burst, right? Might be again. Seems dicey. Her third burst rate, I did not read this. What is this? Change to an enhanced skill. Increases damage, heals 20%, and 2 buffs removed. Okay, that's kind of insane, right? That's kind of insane. So I think on your second turn, you're guaranteed to have a third ability, third burst skill, right? Ready. So first you're going to use your ultimate, then you're going to use your automation of rupture, and that too, the third burst variant of it. Damn. The only thing is, the enemies need to be damaged. So if you're fighting against something like a Leo, super fast Leo who has invulnerability for all team members, then yeah, they're not gonna get damaged, and this skill is kind of useless, right? So I think that's the only counter that I'm seeing right now for her. Of course, other counters exist, such as cleave teams. Just simply kill her, right? Her speed is not gonna be super good anyways, because she's a striker, bruiser at that. Let's take a look at her chain effects. Chain starter effect, so she's a starter. After attacking, grants find weakness to, okay, find weakness. Dual attack effect, if the target has a barrier, damage increases. Alright, pretty good. Her first star transcendence, plus 5% allied T defense. And 6 star is plus 5% allied team defense and a 25 action point at the battle start. Okay, never mind, she's 100% going to get 180 action points if you're going to be using her at 6 star transcendence, right? Always. So her first, her exclusive equipment, Kasai's Spear Core. But isn't Kasai the guy who's I think even Kasai, I don't know what the lore with Kasai is, but I think Demi Stella also had a weapon which was almost similarly named, right? It was something of a part of a Kasai. I don't know. I have zero clue about the lore. Holy shit. Anyways, exclusive equipment. 30 accuracy to light. Doesn't really matter. Unique effects. When hit by an attack that targets all enemies, increases priority of the caster by 50%. What? Only once per turn. But what's the what? What the? Wait, what? Like, how is this legal? Isn't this broken? Like, she's kind of straight up countering Demi Stella. Always. Or any hero particularly that uses AoE. And there's so many heroes who use AoE, man. What the actual fuck? And this happens every turn? So every turn she takes, and she takes AoE damage, she's gonna get 50% priority push. So that's gonna help her get more turns and rake in more priority pushes and just use her skills more. Okay, never mind. She is kind of cancer, man. She seems really good. Again, not using the term broken, but she seems really, really good. At least on paper. I'm pretty sure people are already testing her out, because, you know, I'm kind of like a day old right now on the patch. But I'd really love to know what your own thoughts about it. You know, practical thoughts. If you already pulled her and started using her, do let me know your own thoughts. But first, on first look, this seems really, really good. Really good hero, because First of all, she kind of counters cleavers, you know, because she's a bruiser, striker. You can build it with lots of evasion, although evasion is kind of gutted right now. Their usage seems to be pretty low, but still, the only thing is she lacks damage mitigation, right? Pair her with Lila, because Lila is kind of looking like the perfect match, like a literal match made in heaven for these two, because Lila also gets lots of damage mitigation. She also, you know, heals, puts up barriers. Super good hero to work around with this Epsilon trick. Anyways, outside of that, we also have the next hero, which is called Demiurge Drakhan. Our next Demiurge hero, which was super hyped up, she's finally here. And her skills are kind of insane as well, kind of bonkers. Because keep in mind, I did read some of the skills of Demiurge Drakhan because I was so hyped around it. Damn, they look something different. Anyways, keep in mind, this is still a first look, so I'm not gonna go and jump into conclusions yet, and I'll be making sure to test these heroes out. Of course, I need to summon them first. Who am I kidding? I need to summon them, and summoning them is gonna be a pain in the ass, but hopefully I get Demiurge Drakhan and Epsilon both. So Demiurge Drakhan is gonna be a light elemental defender, and in defender she's gonna be a sweeper, right? So first up, her basic ability, Conqueror's Fang, attacks an enemy, deals 2% of the target's max health as fixed damage. Damage dealt increases proportional to max health instead of attack. It's kind of weird that they had to mention this, like instead of attack. Like they could have just wrote this, that damage dealt increases proportional to max health. Like we know it's gonna, you know, scale up to according to their max health. Why do you need to write attack? Was it like mixed between attack and health always, or like is there a component of health and attack combined? I don't know, it seems weird to, you know, say this as portrayed in this way. 2% max health as fixed damage doesn't not that broken, doesn't sound broken at all, right? Because it's only 2%. But I think she's gonna be really good for bosses, you know. Even though like 2% is super average. At least in PvP it's not that good, in my opinion. If this was like 5%, but I know if it was like 5% it would be so broken for PvE. For PvP, this is kind of decent. Not really bad, not really good, just decent, right? Her burst ability is also on her first ability, which is kind of crazy to think about. Her burst is kind of on the lower side, or maybe average for defenders. I believe Veronica also has the same amount of burst points or action points required to cast the burst ability. The first burst skill is increases penetration by 30%. Super good. Penetration is always a good stat to have, or, you know, good mechanic to have on a hero, because it's pretty scarce, and penetration severely increases your damage. Like, it's so good. Penetration is so good. So, a second burst skill increases damage proportional to missing health. Alright. So, the lower she gets, the more damage she's gonna deal. Super nice to hear. 160. Third burst ability. Changes to enhance skill. Resets Dragon Ruler's Breath cooldown. And this is, by the way, her third ability. We have still not looked into it, but yeah, this is super good. We'll get into it, right? Her second ability is called Doom Heralding Cry. Grants show your loyalty and a barrier to all allies except for the caster for 2 turns. Barrier strength increases proportional to caster's max health. After using the skill, gains an extra turn. So far looking pretty good, right? So far looking good. AoE barriers grants us a unique effect, and the barriers scale with her health, which, you know, they're supposed to, because she is supposed to be built on health always. You know, all of her skills kind of scale with health. Super good. Plus she gets an extra turn. Let's take a look at Show Your Loyalty first. This is a unique effect. Takes 15% of damage suffered by Demiurge Drakhan in their place. Health cannot be reduced below 1 by this effect. So this is kind of, how do I put it? This is kind of like Immortality in Epic 7, if you're familiar with that, or Endure in Summoner's War. In this sense, players cannot die at all. I mean, not players. Your teammates cannot die. Only Demiurge Drakhan can die, I think, right? No. Yeah. Because it says except for the caster. So yeah, she can die because she will not have this ability. But this is straight up 15% damage mitigation. Insane. Plus she gains an extra turn, and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? You'll see. This is her final ability, her third ability. Dragon Ruler's Breath. Single target attacks an enemy. Damage dealt increases proportional to max health instead of attack and additionally increases inversely proportional to Demiurge Drakhan's current health. Enemies killed by this skill do not activate resurrection or revival. Bro, what was I talking about? She's literally an anti-revive mechanic, bro. This is... Man, we all predicted this for like ages, ever since Mania dropped. Actually, we did not predict this specific Demiurge unit to be, you know, an anti-rival or anti-resurrection type, but she is. And this is kind of crazy, because this skill also deals a huge chunk of damage. It's proportional to her max health, and inversely proportional to Demiurge Drakhan's current health. So I think this is super good for anti-cleavers, right? Keep in mind, cleavers tend to go first, and when you take a lot of damage and potentially do not die and use this skill, I think there's a 100% chance the enemy will be killed unless they miss, you know. But of course, missing is not something we calculate or, you know, take part in. We're gonna kill somebody for sure, and they cannot revive. So good luck, Demiaste. Good luck, Mene. All essentially all healers who have the resurrection, you know, what's it called, charm or accessory. Good luck to all of them. You're just simply not gonna revive. The good thing is this is still balanced. Now I know some people might think, well, okay, what the fuck, man, you killed Mene, like you killed Demiurge Aste. This skill does not essentially kill revivers. Keep in mind, because this is a single target skill. And it's a long ass cooldown, 6 turns cooldown, right? And even though you can reset it through this third burst ability, it's still on a long turn cooldown. The thing is, if she kills, look at exclusive equipment, Ancestral Spirit, reduces taken damage taken from dark enemies by 20%. Pretty good, you know, dark enemies. So Demiurge Aste is like literally getting countered here. Plus, if Dragon Ruler's Breath defeats an enemy, increases all allies' health by 15%. So this is increasing their health, essentially. This is not healing them. This is increasing their overall health. So if somebody was at like 1000 HP, I'm just taking it, you know, for an example, 1000 HP, 15% would be an additional increase by 150. So if she kills an enemy, all allies will be at 1150 HP, you know, assuming they were at like 1000 HP. This is crazy, and I think it does not say that this is unstackable, or it does not even say that this does not stack. So I don't know if this is gonna stack or not. So supposedly, you know, if this stacks, this could be like severely more broken, because then it will stack up consistently, resulting in serious health improvements for all allies. Keep in mind, this is going to be insane for allies who, you know, whose abilities always kill with health. For example, Veronica, the rework Rona, super good. Like even Demistella, bro. Demistella, the prime culprit. How can I forget her? Super good, right? Plus, you can literally reset your ability cooldown, although it's on a 160 action point requirement, which is kind of insane, but it's still achievable, right? It's for sure more achievable than waiting 6 turns, right? If you have to wait 6 turns, then this skill is kind of useless, honestly, because 6 turns is not it. Your team will be killed easily in 6 turns. 6 turns is a lot, man. Again, let's take a look at her skill effects. Her skill Chain Companion effect, so she's a companion in chain skills, increases damage dealt by skill chain attacks proportional to max health instead of attack, and always deals advantageous damage. Again, pretty decent. I think advantage damage is pretty good because you have it on Rin, and you can already see she deals pretty decent damage with her second ability. Dual attack effect, damage dealt increases proportional to max health instead of attack. Man, they're using this term, max health instead of attack. I'm kind of suspicious, and I really want to try this out now because what's different than simply saying that, you know, deals proportional to max health? Why do you have to mention instead of attack all the time? Kind of crazy, but I think it's super solid. Overall, her kit is super good. Let's read the Transcendence effect. First, her 4-star Transcendence, plus 4% ally team evasion, plus 25 action points at battle start. A 6-star Transcendence, when an ally scores a critical hit, increases priority of the caster by 35%. Bro, what? What? 35% of pop when an ally scores a critical hit. And this can happen every turn she goes. So, you know, essentially she's getting free 35% because keep in mind, critting is not that rare. Critting is super easy. Of course, if you pair up with Rona, the reworked Rona, which cannot literally crit, this becomes a problem. But again, there's only one hero, the rest of the two heroes can easily crit, especially if you're using her with Demi Stella, which she probably will, or someone of a more, like a decent bruiser defender like Veronica, or even Leo. You can always get random crits all the time, right? Priority by 35%. This is crazy. This is super crazy. Man, both the new heroes have something crazy in their kits, man. Both of them are getting pushed like insane. Like, she's getting pushed 35%, Epsilon is getting pushed by 50%. So I think the guys at Outerplane, what they're trying to do, they know the base stats of defenders or other classes outside of marksmen's. They kind of suck, right? It kind of sucks. Their speed is not good. I mean, not sucks, but their speed is not good. The speed stat is super bad for these type of heroes. So they're trying to compensate it by adding priority pushes in their skill kits just so they're viable. Honestly, that's my own opinion, and I think this will work for them because viability matters a lot. So if your Demiurge Drakhan gets like one-shotted instantly before she's able to even take a turn, that's gonna be a big problem. That's gonna push down her usability to the depths of hell, quite legitly. And this is a Demiurge unit. They cannot make a Demiurge unit bad, right? They cannot make that. It should never happen because this is supposed to be the most premium units, right, in the game. So they cannot risk having a bad Demiurge unit. They can make it more balanced, I agree, but it should never be broken or like super game changing, right? Like, it should not like cancel out other heroes. For example, Demi Stella, she was super broken when she was released. There was literally no counters to her, right? Now I think it's more more fixed in some ways, because now we have an anti-revive hero, so no more complaints of people always saying, well, mainly revives everybody. Mainly revives everything. Super cancer, super bad. Demi Oste, man, 80% priority push on death, super bad. Now you have a answer to it. It's not a definitive answer. Again, she's super slow, but the good thing is if you have her 6-star transcendence, which literally means throw all your money at it, well, you can have a super good defender unit in the game, right? Because keep in mind, this is not a passive skill, right? At least I believe this is not a passive skill. Her second skill I'm talking about, Doom Heralding Cry. So she kind of needs to use it. This effect does not, trigger passively. So this damage mitigation, everything, this is not passive. This needs to be, a turn needs to be taken for her to, be able to do this. But the good thing is, you can instantly rotate to your third ability after using it, because this grants an extra turn. So I can see how people are gonna play it. I can see some teams already popping out. And the good thing is, these guys, what they're doing is they're literally having back-to-back counters released simultaneously. You see, grant shared loyalty and a barrier to all allies except for the caster. And Epsilon's main gimmick is to literally counter barriers. So yeah, it's kind of insane to think about that. Epsilon is kind of countering Demiurge Drakhan, and Demiurge Drakhan is, I don't know, this is kind of crazy to think about, right? Because they're releasing counters of the same hero. But it's super good. I mean, honestly, I'm all for it, right? I'm all for it. We have two unique heroes. One punishes resurrection, the other is going to punish action point gain and shields or barriers, whatever you call them. So yeah, I'm all for it. We have got two new heroes. Honestly, the playability in RTA is going to be off the charts. Of course, I need to test them out personally, and I would also recommend you as a viewer to wait if you're if you're still thinking or on the fence of pulling for both of them. I mean, honestly, Demiurge Drakhan you should 100% pull, because first of all she's a Demiurge unit. You should always have Demiurge units. They are kind of game changing in their own way, and they're super unique. So make sure to always get at least one copy. If you're on a bad day, or if you're having a bad month or something with the summons, at least try to get one copy, because keep in mind, we're gonna get some free summons to get her already, right? You just need to pump out some ether, right? Just to get it. Guaranteed. Anyways, Epsilon is another beast. Honestly, I'll pull for both of them. I want as many copies of both of them. They seem super unique, super good. Especially PvP wise, right? For PvE, I think Demiurge Drakhan is going to have a good role in PvE because of her basic attack, scaling off targets max health as fixed damage. Plus, you can, probably have more heroes come up in lineups because of this immortality effect, right? Anyways, outside of that, that's it. That's my take on both of these heroes. What are your own thoughts about them? Do let me know your own thoughts in the comment section. Do you think both of them are good? Do you think one of them is bad? Or anyways, your own decision. Whatever you want to comment about. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you later. Peace out.